такое здание. Ой, синенькое.
They go downtown Detroit.
Нет. Дети.
This is from Gratiot. Somebody sound like they ain't gonna make it over there. Hey, it's kind of weird. All right, well, this is Highland Park. Let me start right here. This is Highland Park. This is pretty much the street that I grew up on. This is Geneva. This is actually a ghost of what it used to be. I actually grew up in this house right here. This is where I moved to Michigan. It was in about 1980. It's been a while. 1988. And when I moved here, there was practically houses pretty much just about everywhere on the block. It ain't like that no more. Not at all. When I first moved here, when we moved here, we had to go to a school not too far. It was called Ford. And I remember the first time I heard gunshots. It took me by surprise because I moved from Hartford, Connecticut to Springfield, Massachusetts. And then we moved from Massachusetts to here. And it was like a total culture shock because I wasn't used to half of the stuff that I see here. It was a totally different environment when I grew up. So first time I heard gunshots, I was walking down that street over there called Florence, and me and a couple of my school people, my classmates, we were all walking down in a nice little group. And next thing I heard is tack, 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 tack. And while I'm walking with the group of people, everybody started ducking and running. I said, what y'all doing? It was like, hey man. It was like, hey man, get down, they shooting. I was like, shooting? Tack, tack, tack. And everybody's running and doing all this running. And I'm standing like, where? You know, I'm looking around for who was shooting. And of course I did see the person after they started shooting. They ran across the street. They was on that side. They ran across that street and ran through the alley. And then all my classmates got up and laughed at me. They was like, man, you don't know what's going on here, do you? Nah, I didn't. And that's when I started my whole avenue of getting street smart. A lot of y'all watch movies, and when y'all watch those movies in Russia, gunshots don't sound nothing like y'all hear. They don't sound nothing like y'all do on the movies. They sound more like a firecracker popping. Once you get used to hearing it, you get used to hearing it. So, I mean, if people set off fireworks, I could almost tell the difference between fireworks and gunshots most of the time. But yeah, so we walked down there after the shooting. I don't think nobody got shot and killed that day. But that won't be the last time or the first time I heard about somebody getting shot. And we went home. So I grew up on this block right here. Down there is Liberty, which is the elementary school. You can see that it's boarded up. We'll probably take a trip down that way. First memories of this block. Let me see if I can give y'all a quick rundown of what it used to look like. But when I first moved here, right here in this big patch of land right here was a big apartment building. This apartment building was like 3 or 4 stories high, and it stretched from here to that whole side of the street. Right here was a house. I forgot who lived here, but it'll come to me in a minute. But I know my Auntie Carla ended up moving here. Up here, Miss Harris lived upstairs, and Miss Davis's grandmother lived downstairs. Right across from there, that was Miss Wicker's house. This has always been an empty lot. That's always been empty right here. And that house was Sabrina Thomas. They lived there. And there used to be a white house right here. In fact, we're gonna go on Google Maps so we can show y'all generally what it looked like after some of the carnage, after it started looking all jacked up.
Окей. Вот он. Highland Park, Michigan. 3 мили длиной. То, что пунктирной линией обозначено, это Highland Park. Давайте немножко отзумим. Зум-аут сделаем. Все, что вокруг пунктирной линии, это Детройт. То есть Highland Park находится именно в самом Детройте. Теперь давайте найдем улицу, на которой мы сейчас расположены. И вот они, дома, около которых мы сейчас стоим. Вот он дом, в котором жил у меня муж. Давайте посмотрим через дорогу. То есть сейчас там нет вообще домов, да? Вот, в принципе, все то же самое. Смотрим дальше. Этого дома зеленого уже нет. Дом следующий, по-моему, еще стоит. Это дом, где мой муж вырос. Там живет тетя. Ну да, то есть вот сделано это видео в 2009. Так что да, особо, в принципе, ничего и не изменено. Вот этого дома уже нет. Ну и этих домов никаких, ни одного нет уже. Ну ладно, пойдемте обратно, послушаем еще каких-нибудь историй.
Right here was Miss Campbell's house. Next to Miss Campbell's house was, God, it's so weird looking at this place without any of the houses. But it is what it is. That was Miss Campbell's house right there, right here. Next to it was Miss Davis's house. Right here, Cecil used to live there, and Sabrina, the Thomases, they used to live there. We lived there at this house on Geneva. Yeah. Gosh, this place looks, ooh. And that's where Miss Davis's house was. Miss Laurie used to live here. Now I'm running down all the houses with or without people here. So we had.
Look at this grass.
Yeah, we had. This is a jungle. This is I Am Legend.
Right.
All we listen is the wild tigers. They probably will come out in a minute. They got who used to live there? Jeff and them used to live there. Right here, there was a house right here. Stephen used to live here. There's a yellow house right here. There was a house right here. God, there's no houses here. There was a house right here. I forgot the family that moved here. In fact, this was the first house that started all the trouble of burning down houses on our block. So there was a house right here. I forgot who used to live here. Right here, right across, used to be the Hudgens family house. Used to be right here. Right there is the Hudgens family grandfather. Used to live there. And Dozer, another one of my neighbors, he lived here. Dino, his house was about right. Whoa, God, it's kind of hard to predict. Dino's house was about right here. So they're all pretty big houses. They're all about the size of, we'll show you our house, but it's almost still fully big. Dino's house is right here. I think his house had like 5 or 6 bedrooms in it. That's how big the house was. Dino's house was here. Then there was a lot. Then we had Miss Tillman's house right here. And then Pam them house was right there at the corner. On this side, after Dozer's house, there was a big apartment building right there also. So we had 2 apartment buildings. So let me see how many houses we had. I'm gonna count that side first and then I'm gonna hit this side. We had the apartment building. We had Miss Quicker's house. We had Miss Campbell's house. We had Miss Davis's house. We have Jeff them house. We had the Hudgens right here. Granddaddy there, Dozer there, apartment building over there. So on that side of the street, there was 9 houses. We start from that end. I forgot who lived in the first house. Miss Harris lived in the second house. The lot, Sabrina lived in the third house. Cecil lived in the 4th house. We lived in the 5th house. Miss Laurie was in the 6th house. Stephen was in the 7th house. I don't remember who lived in the 8th house. Then Dino was in the 9th house. Miss Tillman was in the 10th house. And Pamela was in the 11th house. There was 11 houses on this side of the street. And if you can look, there's Rachel. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 houses on that side. And 1, 2, 3 houses on this side. And that was Liberty School. So we have 4 on the houses on one side and Liberty School apartment building. So this is pretty much Highland Park in the neighborhood, what it looks like right now. Yeah, this was where Mikey used to go to school. My brother, Yolanda, and James, they went to school here. Man, this all.
Do you think it's gonna come back?
Huh?
Do you think all the houses, they'll rebuild the houses?
No, not for at least another 20 years. Not for another 20 years. And you gotta get all the, it's gonna take too long to get all the drugs, the traffic, the drug trafficking, the drug dealers, the drug addicts. Yeah, that's that sign that they shot up. The drug addicts. It's gonna take a while to get all them out of here.
Hold on.
Yeah, little baby. I'm 6'3", and most of the grass is at least waist high. Most of the grass is waist high. That's where Liberty School used to be. That apartment building stretched from here to here. And that block over there always had like a little number of houses on that block.
No, just one.
Now it's just one. This school used to be nice. Tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for today. Malcolm X. guy that got inside the house. You can actually floor wide open. They actually tried to burn this house down once too. Some people were selling drugs in there. Somebody threw a Molotov cocktail in the house. They didn't succeed in burning it down, but they attempted. Nope, it wasn't this house. There was a house next to this. Yeah, it was a house next to this. That one succeeded in burning it down. Spider web, look down. You see it?
Yeah.
Remember, I don't know if I told you. There was a guy who got shot. Carl. He got shot up there. He ran right around here and died right here.
What?
He died. He got shot. Somebody, I don't know if because when they started getting into when the streets started selling drugs a lot, they shot him up there, like across from where our car is. And I don't know where they shot him, but the guy got out and started running this way. And I guess the guy who shot him kept shooting at him and ended up hitting him. Ended up hitting him in the head. And he staggered over this way and dropped dead right there. That time, everybody thought it was me because by that time I'd already started getting myself in a whole lot of trouble. So they thought it was me that got shot, but apparently it's not. Thank God it wasn't. But yeah, he ended up dying right over there. What else?
Somebody actually cut this grass, or it just doesn't grow?
No, it probably just don't grow. Probably just don't grow. They got a lot of dead stuff in there. No, not people dead stuff. I mean, like, see how there's like nowhere for it's like dry land. So
look at all these trees.
Highland Park used to be called the City of Trees. Turned to a tree is a different sort. But let me see. Yeah, when I first moved here, when we was living on Geneva, back to the story about the house. Some people lived in this house. That's when I think drugs first started getting introduced to our block. There was a house there, and something happened within the house, and that house caught fire. After that house burned down, it burned down Steph and them house, which made Steph and them move off the block. Then after it burned Stephen's house, it burned Miss Laurie's house, which is still standing. That thing has been burnt up for over 12 years. It's been like that for over 12 years, but they burnt down that house and it almost caught the house we lived in, but the firefighters put it out by the time it burnt down 1, 2, 3 houses. Let me see what else happened on this street. Just cut it. Then this was Miss Hudgens' house. They ended up tearing this down. Nothing crazy happened here. Grandfather